This is pt.100 and welcome back to some more Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Turnabout Trump. In the previous episode we had started off on our new adventure with our new protagonist, starting to defend our first client, Phoenix Wright, out of all people. Then we met Olga Orley, who claims to have seen the entire match, and she also claims that there was a cheat in the final hand. Let's find out if she's telling the truth. If you like what you see, leave a like down below, comment if you have anything to say, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and share with your friends that can join in on this investigation. One last hand. Both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in the deck from ace to king. Oh, that explains it. So loud. It was blasting my ears. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. Then the defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. Miss Orley, why did you not tell this court, the court about this from the very beginning? Why can I not have a moment of silence when this mic is not picking up outside noises? Jesus Christ. I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, time to throw back the covers. A full house is a very high scoring hand. I used to make in my experience. That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin? What's a full house? Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker. Can't say this bodes well for your case or career. What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice, you know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair, and with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it? You can see each player's hand in this photo. Wow, they both have full houses. We forget there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat. The defendant may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat in that last hand, that leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Alright. The last hand. Both men had full house. Alright. 1, 2, 3. So 7, 7, 7. And 2 aces. And then 2 aces. 3 kings. I don't... What's the problem here? There's 1 of each suit. It's fine. Hold it! Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway? It is quite hard. It is making pair and 3 of a kind at the same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult, to be sure. If you take my word, it's a poker hand of courtroom number 3. Very difficult, but it is not impossible. Okay, full house, hard. Line of questioning, a waste of time. There's 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. That's right. There's 4 of each number, 1 for each suit. Hold it! 4 of each card, you say? There's 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is interesting fact that this number 4 comes out of number of seasons. Huh, you don't say. Did you know that the cards are numbered 1 to 13? Add all the cards in the deck and you get 364. A year. Huh, you don't say. Isn't that 1 day short? That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say that just second joker stands for the leap year. Thus you have the perfect representation of the year. All in a deck of cards. Ha, you don't say. We're going to be in this courtroom for a year if this keeps going on like this. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. How was it clear? The defendant, he played the 5th ace. A 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's 2. Obviously cheating was afoot, or perhaps I should say a hand. Your Honor. Yeah. Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke.
Very well. The witness will add the detail to our testimony, please.
That wasn't the hand. I looked at it very clearly. It is not 5 aces. It is 4 aces. 2 aces and 2 aces. I don't know where you saw the last one. Objection! It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name... Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony.
That's the photo of the trip, is it not?
Justice, perhaps you ought to explain your point out in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point.
Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. But the particular point contradicts the witness's testimony.
Take that! Miss Orley, in your testimony you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand is 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's his 5th ace? I see cheating alright, and it's going down right here in the courtroom.
2 aces in each player's hand. That make 4 aces total. On the proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It is true. I have seen that the 5th ace. There is cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. Sorry. Objection! You're right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards.
The cards?
Mr. Payne. Yes. The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court.
Very well, the prosecution must submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's card or the defendant's card?
These cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? Let's do the victim's hand. It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards.
Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would.
Very well. Well, time's a wasting. Get to it, Justice. Oh God, it's not the right voice, and yet it's his objection. And if I'm right, yup. One of the cards has a blue back. I'm much more of a red guy myself. Blue is so not red, you know? Yes, sir. I'm examining evidence before... Okay. We know how to do this by now. In fact, I did it ahead of time, so fuck you, Gavin. What? Your Honor, look at this! One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color! Eh? Duh! That is impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. What was that, Miss Orley? No, yet. I merely said that Your Honor.
Mr. Gavin, yes?
Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker?
To cheat?
I'll tell you. Only, one merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer.
Oh!
Wait, so you mean... As witness, Miss Orley. She's a cheater, a professional, I'd wager. Yeah,
Order!
Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. Of her mistake. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. Whoops. Olga Orley conspired to cheat not only with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Or not with my client, I should say. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What?
Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness was Olga Orley, are you?
Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. If Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder.
Mr. Payne, where's the witness, Miss Olga Orley?
It appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Burgess?
Your Honor.
Seems you presented a new possibility for the court when suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith.
And that means?
The court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What? I did it. I held out.
See no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
What? Mr. Wright! You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant spewing now? Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook! Ridiculous!
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has talent for the ridiculous.
This is very true.
Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about this game the fateful night.
Yeah, we can't let the trial end here. This is a tutorial trial. We can't have any, examinations or investigations. We can't have that the first trial. As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night. That was said before. The 2 decks at the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. You used 2 different colors and they still got mixed up. We used red for the last game.
I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you're using the blue cards.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever. In the end, wonder what card the wrong color got in the mix, which means there was cheating. Yes, a card slipped into the deck. It would seem to indicate cheating. This card raised 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, Sally. Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. Could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Well, yeah. Thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped. Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the two cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? If it was realistic, it would have to be after the murder. Perhaps it happens after the murder.
What's this? Ridiculous! What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly!
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh? Even when the backs of the cards are a different color? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time.
Ah,
quite true. That would mean the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us.
But there's another?
Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room, alive that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue card? Realistically, okay, I'm not accusing Phoenix. I want to make that clear. But if Olga's testimony is actually true, then okay, then she would, you know, if it was to set Phoenix up, why would she swap it? Because if she didn't swap it and there was cheating going on, that would, yeah, I'm gonna say it was Phoenix. The one who swapped the cards was Mr. Wright. It was you, wasn't it? And why would I do such a thing? Well, because maybe you were trying to hide the fact that you cheated?
It makes sense, but the swap card was in the victim's hand.
Oh. Sorry. I'm a nice guy, but I'm not that nice. Alright. Someone else then. The one who swapped the cards was Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orley either.
But what are you suggesting?
It's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orley at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe that she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card.
If the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious.
Huh.
Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright?
Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun this all is.
Fine, how about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If I was the one who swapped the card, if the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orley, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction.
A new direction?
We'll find that, indeed, after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand, and that someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us the first was swapping the wrong color card, because the one who did the swap didn't know the two colors of the cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right, swap the fifth ace with a king. So whoever swapped it wasn't expecting it to be a fifth ace after all. They knew that there was, all they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True, not until now. But you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There is someone else there that not at the scene of the crime.
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
The trial proceeded on one simple assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there was only 3 people in that room.
I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption.
The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court.
Suppose that is a problem, yes.
The court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you when my time is during this recess.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Very well. The trial will resume in 20 minutes.
April 20th, 11:52 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. It was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright, to suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well now, I'd like to think you would know the answer to that. Ah, being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Christoph. Justice? Yes, sir? The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Ah, you're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. There's a picture of my daughter in there. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago, what I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think that I might cheat. I never, honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Huh? You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law? Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can be a valuable source of information. You're kidding! That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, who'd notice that? Words, habits, twitches. It's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass... Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will, soon. Ah, almost forgot. One more thing. About this case, you should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it! I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there defending me. I need your power. My power? I had no idea my Courts of Steel were that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. Let's keep going. I'm gonna try to finish up this trial, although maybe. Just see how I do. might take one more episode to finish it up. This is a long tutorial trial, but then again, there's a lot of story packed into it because there was a 7-year gap. Or I should say 7 to 10 years, because I don't know what the time was between. Okay, Trials and Tribulations was the third one, I believe. You know, hold on, I can do this. Yes, it's Trials and Tribulations is the third one. So yeah, I don't know what the time gap was in between Trials and Tribulations and this game. I'll probably look it up later, maybe. But yeah, let's just assume it's like between 7 to 10 years. Coach will now reconvene. I did not notice that before. Cout. Coup. Alright. I saw witness Miss Olga Orley recovered. Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness. Perhaps we could hear her version of the events again. That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued. Looking but fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand. Very well. The witness will take the stand. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser. Not. Name's oh god. Name's Olga Orley. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quickfingers Orley. Oh, really? Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian. My last name sounds like oh really. There, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. Witness, you will tell the court what you were really up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We have plans, see? Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrication will have serious consequences. Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. The guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was playing at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game as a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim? Not that he needed my help. Smith was a well-known poker player in some circles, but winning wasn't the main purpose of the game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull the planted card and the trap would snap shut. Suppose it's a cheater and losing on top of that. It would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cut down on those prior wins. 7-year-old legends destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. Oh really, Orley, how droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake. A mistake? I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card? Hey, that's right! He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quick Fingers Orley. Oh, really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick. Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. But with you being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. The best laid traps. And we're gonna end it off. I changed my mind. We're gonna end it off here. In the next episode of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, Turnabout Trump. We are going to find out what the trap was in more detail. We know the overview of it. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.